3 years ago, Starcom MediaVest Group developed a relationship with Twitter, which hinged on a lot of pillars, one of the key ones being education and understanding, particularly in the social space, particularly with social related to television viewing as well. So we strive to figure out what are the new behaviors that are happening when we have 3-4 screens all in use at the same time while people are watching television. What is the behaviors on tablets and smartphones? How are people consuming TV shows and tweeting at the same time, and what patterns can we see, and how does that actually maybe interrupt the brand experience of advertising messages, or does it enhance it? What came out of a recent study that we conducted with Twitter at SMG as well as a partner Canvas was understanding the depth of shows around programming, and particularly programming that is more emotionally relevant. Programming where people are tweeting their emotions, they're showing they're highly engaged. And the relationship of that programming to actually driving brand recall was interesting, and that we saw a 48% lift in brand recall for people that are actually engaged in shows emotionally. You know, we talk often about the thumb-stopping creative, right? And so here's the opportunity to be on a platform which obviously has hundreds of millions, now billions of viewers across Facebook, if you think of that also in the new platform mix of video. And the opportunity to connect with them in moments that wouldn't have been possible before in the typical desktop TV world. So we're starting to look at it not just from a scale perspective, but how do you actually connect in those cultural moments, which is really what Twitter's about. Understanding and being on the edge of pop culture in real time, and for our ability now to bring brands into that conversation, beyond just promoted tweets, actually into now more programmed, curated channels that they're developing, and be more relevant as a result, particularly the more sophisticated they get with targeting, and the more sophisticated we as advertisers are with messages that understand the audience through data and then are created to be relevant. If you're talking more about formats, there's an interesting dialogue at the 4As talking about brand creative and shifting the storytelling to actually think more like a journalist, right? The journalist is always the don't bury the lead. That's what you put at the top. The pyramid needs to start with what are the facts, the story, the information, the true value at the head end, then leading down into kind of the details and the granularity. So thinking not necessarily as this arc of building up as we might have in a 30-second spot for telling a story, but putting the true value at the very front end because you have limited time and attention and you're scrolling pretty fast, so you better connect the brand message with that behavior and provide value instantly. Hoping to see this new front, and I'm certain we will see more of this just the way the marketplace has evolved. The focus on hits has gone away. The focus needs to be on audiences, understanding different video consumption behaviors, and how these companies are actually tailoring their own content formats to drive that value and to drive new ad formats so that we can be part of that audience connection as well. The early new fronts, as you probably remember, were all about the lineup of shows and programming. We've seen a lot of big decisions over this last year. For example, Yahoo shutting down some of their content magazines. Many companies getting into what is our core focus and how do we think about different ad formats, and hopefully how do we connect that experience across screens. So we're hopeful we'll see more of that connectivity this year instead of an isolated one-hit wonder or a story just around a channel instead of a complete user experience with video.